Yeah, okay. Nature's Prophet ban comes through. Really solid ban, especially versus the Primal Beast. Just one of those victims of the level 20 talent. Just really annoying, as well as one of the few safe lane heroes that actually can lane versus Death Prophet off lane. So really hitting the nail on the head there for Ravens. And they've got options here for what they want to lead this next phase with. And I like this. Disruptor. Simple, easy, as well as one of the best solutions to the evasive style that Treant plays in that tree line whenever he decides to defend the tier 1. All it takes is you to get him for a second, trying to last it in the wave, glimpse him back. Super simple kill. Really like it a lot.
And bit of an old standby for Kara as well. Quite a few games on the Disruptor. Most of those games came back in the day when it was him and Dismar, kind of the dynamic duo there in terms of SA supports, but he still gets his option. Meanwhile, for Wildcard, they go in for the Morphling, which, well, as of right now, feels maybe a little bit unprompted, ET, but Wildcard want it. They don't want to take any chances on the final phase of bans, so they get the Morph, they followed up with the Tusk, and they've certainly got a lineup here that can do quite a bit of fighting.
Yeah, and it is fairly brave to pick the Morphling into the Disruptor, but it's also a very good option versus the Primal Beast in lane, assuming that it is Primal Beast in that lane. But paired with the Trim Protector as well, Bleach Seed is just a very efficient spell. You get Living Armor on the Morphling. It's very difficult to die in this type of game. Tusk also is valuable. A little bit less valuable just because any Snowball save can also be met with, well, Disruptor. You got to be really careful there in that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Snowball is a pretty great tool, but leading into a Static Storm can sometimes be a death sentence for some heroes, but is still going to be very valuable and just easy to get on top of
Oh,
him. And that is a Phantom Lancer. Okay. I mean, kind of a counter there versus the Bat Rider and very obnoxious for the Morphling to deal with, but is a killable hero. This is something that the Morphling can honestly itemize and play against. And I think Morphling is just simply a better hero than PL. PL takes a lot of time, a lot of farm before he can really do anything in the game at large. It's where that hero or heroes like the Death Prophet are going to make it seem a little bit better, but you're going to be carried by that Death Prophet for a large portion of this game.
hmm. Well, a little bit risky. The PL getting picked up and PL into a decent amount of sort of AoE damage, so your illusions are not going to last super long until you pick up some durability items yourself, but we'll see how that plays out. In the meantime, ET, you see Ravens starting in on the final phase of bans. They do ban the Leshrac. I do want to ask at this point, if you're Wildcard, do you look at the Bat Rider in terms of shifting him, slide the Tusk in mid? Is that a possibility, or do you think the Bat mid is just really more valuable?
It probably should just be the bat mid. I think it's too good of a forcing move. It can lane versus the Death Prophet if it is Death Prophet mid. We also don't know, and that's where Wildcard also say that it probably isn't DP in the mid lane. Of course, if it's not, then it's a Death Prophet Primal Beast off lane, which makes a little bit of sense. It's something that Ravens have done. It's a pretty classic combo for them. But I do wonder if they're correct here, because at the end of the day, Ravens have the ability to do that switch up if they want to. That's also where the Ember Spirit is still kind of kicking around. If we want to switch up the mid laner, or we have to draft a mid laner, there is still something versus the Bat Rider. Or if it is just going to be Death Prophet is still fine versus Bat. Still have to be careful about level 5, where he's got 3 points in Napalm, but other than that, that lane could be fine enough. It's where Ravens still have so many ways to switch around their draft. All we really know is it's Kara Disruptor and Parker PL. Everything else, though, can change at the last second.
Mm-hmm. Maintaining that flexibility to the very end. Now for Wildcard, well, a decision to be made. Little bit blind here in terms of what the final laning setups will be, but we've got 5 seconds. Huh. I've not seen a Grimstroke in a little bit of time here, but okay. So now, well, who is going to be, I guess not the third core, that part's pretty clear, but who ends up going where? Do you run the Bat mid and the Tusk 3 or swap that around?
Well, I don't really like Grimstroke, but I think probably the best situation is having Valkyr on the Grimstroke and then Sunlight Tusk. And
Yeah.
okay, we'll see. Maybe they switch it around because Flea is on the Grimstroke, so maybe they do change things up ever so slightly. But PP's on a hero that cannot lose. And it might not be the most flashy hero, but is going to give you a lot more damage where the lineup was feeling a little bit slow with what they're actually able to do, but very annoying, extremely annoying for Samson to have to deal with now. Also going to really just be annoying for Flea every single time that ult comes through. Thunder Gods just chunks supports like the Rubik, like the Grimstroke, these backlines that just don't really build up very much. Fleet's going to be probably gunning for a Glimmer Cape this game just because it really is that bad. It is not fun to play against, but we'll have to see. And it is not the most active mid laner either. So if Ravens start to struggle in any of their lanes, it's not like PP is really going to be able to help out too much. It's where it's more of a team effort coming from everybody, and then PP can kind of sprinkle some damage on top. But otherwise, they're pretty much locked into their laning situations, and we'll see. But that mid lane is going to be something to watch out for. Can also be a pretty easy solo kill for Kits if PP isn't too careful. And Kits is going to get way more active on the Bat Rider. He's going to be the one looking for way more kills, especially in the Death Prophet game. Air lane, if he can slow up Benjaz, that's going to be perfect for Wildcard.
Definitely a far more active option compared to what he's going up against on the other side, although, you know, Zeus always does have that sort of global presence, so still will be able to make himself known and felt across the map, but we'll see how the styles sort of go up against each other as we get ready for our final match of the night. As we said before, both teams already know where they're going. Wildcard will be eliminated, or already eliminated from playoff contention. Ravens are in, but could finish anywhere at this point between, I think, 2 and 4. So, a lot of potential movement there. Hinging on, obviously, this game and then some of the results tomorrow. Is Demon, well, this is an interesting play. He went for the trample trying to cut down the tree line, which under normal circumstances would have been a solid move, except for the fact that Wildcard were waiting for that exact maneuver, and they punish him with 4 heroes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just caught out really far up, you know, not a mistake necessarily, but just gets walked down and punished for placing that ward. And Wildcard don't know about the ward because he died so far away from it, but still definitely unfortunate. In fact, he died so quickly, he could even make it to a bounty rune at this rate, and he's just walking back top because he just has boots, but it looks like instead he's just going to exist in that top lane and just be there early. Even though right now, looks like that 2-2 split is just going to happen. Sunlight might try to fight for it, but it's just going to get hit instead.
Yeah. Gonna take a little bit of damage here. Got Thunderstrike on him, but
Sorry.
just walk away. Bounty rune's gonna get split 2-2, and well, we'll get into the lanes. Samson, though, does get to start with a slight advantage. He is the one who got that first blood into his hands, so he has a well, an early Wraith Band coming out to him.
No, very nice. Going to mitigate some of the harass that Benjaz is going to put out onto him, because Benjaz is the better ranged hero in this situation, but also like a demon, just being annoying, stepping on Samson. He's got the boots, so Trample actually does a pretty decent amount of damage, but until he gets points up in the actual uproar, Demon's got to be pretty careful himself, because Velhor is just hitting him, even though the reason why he walked up here so quickly is because he just trampled and killed all of Velhor's creeps. So the Treant is in the middle of the lane, no sneaky business there.
Yep. And that was the maneuver that he ended up dying for, but it does kind of pay off once the lanes actually got underway. But, well, as you said, he does need to kind of be careful. That trample play is neat to get in onto Samson, but he lost about half his health in the process. Got some tangos brought out to him, and well, just gonna look to heal himself back up and see if there's any sort of opening in the future. Although, could also play it cool, wait till he hits that second level, and then give it a go, because that would certainly make things a lot easier for them to pull off. As over in the other lane, Sunlight and Flea, they jump in there, and they don't even have the Inkswell. That's just the slow into Snowball and a Shard's Trap that the PL doesn't have a way to get out of because he wasn't level 2 yet.
Yeah, just struck at the perfect moment. He was one creep away, and then snowball dodge out, so Sunlight doesn't take any tower shots. Very nicely played, and because this creep wave is dying underneath the tower, the wave is going to push extremely hard into Sunlight and Flea, so very nice lane so far from them.
Very nicely done. PL, early death, very unfortunate, but still doesn't really have too much to do here other than just try to find his own farm. He is holding a point, though, just in case he does need that doppel if they jump in on him again, but he's holding the point because he really would rather not have to use it. If the aggression just sort of peters out and he doesn't get put under threat again, well, he would love to just be able to skill up the Lance.
No, he definitely would, but it's difficult. Also needs to be a little bit careful right now because Kara is over opening up that small camp, but that's where Flea is also right there to try and body block it. Great glimpse from Kara, though. Very tricky plays.
Glimpses him away. The camp will spawn. Flea, though, obviously knows what's up, so he's going to try to be disruptive. Threw down the ward, so if there is going to be a pull, they'll have pretty much full vision over it. And while that went down, Parker just trying to deal with a little bit of aggression from Sunlight, but once again, the wave's pushed underneath his tower, so well, he's getting a decent amount of last hits ET, but we have seen him miss a couple as well to the tower shots.
Yeah. Just, not enough time. Also constantly getting right-click. It's not fun, but he is level 3 now. He's got the value points and all of his skills, so really the aggression is much more difficult, where that snowball really will only ever hit onto Kara or after Parker already commits the doppel. But in the meantime, just nice trading, nice harass, and okay, Sunlight. Interesting play.
All right. I mean, everybody walks away, I guess. Got a little bit funky in the meantime. Back up top, Benjaz and Demon trying to hunt on to Velhor. Do they have the damage to finish the job? Yes, they do. Demon gets the final hit, and Morphling did have his waveform back up, so might have been able to try something, but he doesn't have enough damage all by himself to really ward off that aggression. So Ravens get their first kill of the game, but over on the other side of the map, Kara in some trouble. Parker does a nice job of dodging the Inkswell stun, but that means his teammate is completely left there to absorb the stun and the damage. And Sunlight, wishful thinking. Snowball's nice, but you can't keep charging in any further than that.
Yeah. And man, this combo, Sunlight and Flea, just kind of owning in their own lane. I wish this combo could happen more, but, losing players, inconsistency issues in the roster, it's difficult. But when they do get the lane with each other, they do look pretty fine.
Up top, Demon on a bit of a trip here. Valior is going to keep chasing, but at a certain point, does the Morphling just cut his losses? Yeah. Out of lane for a little bit too long there for a kill that you're probably not actually going to catch up to, so Morphling backs away. Demon is... I'm not really sure at this point, just kind of walking around, but Treant decides this absolutely is not worth it, and it definitely isn't, so everybody walks away.
Yeah, even though it does end up in the mid lane, but yeah, turns himself out, because, yeah, not much to be done there, as PP gone off to a slight XP advantage over the Batrider, but he's got full wand, he's got arcane boots. Now in the side lanes, you do have to be careful, and this is where everybody has to eye up their HP bars, make sure they have those raindrops completed, and currently, it's not looking too great. But I feel like Flea, yeah, well, that's just how that works. Gets to pop an arcane rune before he casts it as well, so it'll only be a 91-second timer on that Thunder Gods, but raindrop check.
And that's about as free a kill as you're gonna get. Right, Flea was already preoccupied with the support on support engagement as Valior gonna get himself picked off as well. Demon charges his way in, took a lot of damage in the process, ET, but he lives, he gets back out. Samson was too low on health to try and punish it, so they walk away with the kill, and then in the bottom lane, Sunlight is in some trouble. Can he dodge? Kind of. It pulls him back in, though, using the snowball, but Flea is going to be here. They're going to try and go for the Inkswell stun, but the stun is less to reinitiate and more to just make sure Sunlight can actually back off. They are really going at each other here in this top lane. Demon was low on HP after the last kill attempt and did not get all the way back. Didn't have any regen either, so he's just kind of stuck in no man's land with low HP, and Wildcard will take him down.
Yeah, a death he's honestly not too ashamed of giving up. He was already tapped of pretty much all of his mana and HP, so isn't the worst respawn in the entire world. But they're just trying to be obnoxious, trying to get as much damage as they can. But back bottom, same trade, same fight, dodges the ink swell, lets the snowball actually hit so he can dodge out the ink swell from Parker. So just knew what tool to use in the right situation and gets him a kill in sunlight.
The wand shard is really helping out there. So Samson dangerously close to getting taken down. The Thunder God's Wrath, though, was not enough to kill him. He does have his raindrops, so... Well, like you said, raindrop check. Total equivalent of the old cup check. Don't do that. That's not fun. No one ever appreciates that. But this time, at least, Samson gets to live, but this lane's not looking fantastic for him in terms of the pressure being applied. In terms of his farm, he's doing great. He's the second highest net worth, but we might be coming up on the time where Samson decides staying in this lane isn't really worth it anymore and moves off into the jungle.
Oh, and look at this. Oh, Benj has just committed the ultimate, but Kits is coming. Oh, this is worst case scenario here. Demon's going to go down, but Benj has... I don't know how much longer you have here, but Kits... Oh, no.
Is it enough? He's still on the move. Oh, PP's coming over to help, but at this point, they could just keep chasing. Yeah, PP's a little bit dangerous, but not that scary as they track down the kill. And as you said, that's an absolute disaster. That's 2 heroes dead with your Exo committed for no kill, no tower damage even. It's all kind of downhill, and yeah, they're not even really able to get Sunlight caught out here either, so... Not a great series of events there for Ravens. They lose a lot of their momentum off of that.
Yeah, and I knew the play was going to be coming sooner than later there from the Bat Rider. He's got his Boots of Travel coming out as well, but you couldn't ask for a more unfortunate circumstance. And there might be some more plays here that can be made on Samson because he kind of has to stick around right now. The Tusk doesn't want to leave his lane until he has that full mech. If he is leaving his lane, it's probably for a TP reaction or TP rotation. He wants to keep that pressure on the PL, especially now he's level 6. He can just punch constantly and get a lot of harass onto Parker, but we'll have to watch. And, well, this isn't very sneaky. Kits is now bottom. They're still very certain that they've got the PL actually on the creep wave, but they completely guess wrong. Parker just micros the tanky one and kind of plays Wildcard for a fool.
I mean, every PL player tries that maneuver. It only works like 1 out of every 20 to 25 times, but that time, the maneuver works. He's able to just fall back. They also glimpsed the Bat Rider out of the lane, so not only do you avoid the gank ET, but you save a little bit of pressure on your tower. That tier 1 gets to stand for a little while longer, but now Kits has a haste rune, and I don't know if the PL gets out of this one. Can he pull the same trick twice? For now, kind of. It's less a trick and more just, I have more friends than you do in the fight, and Samson's got to back off. Kits is just going to TP himself away, but he TP's up top against Benjaz, who they know doesn't have Exo. There's going to be your lasso, pulling him in. Benjaz not immediately dying, though, and with the siphons, he is a lot more durable than they thought he would be. And now, yeah, Valhor, at a certain point, when Kits gets sort of forced back by the glimpse, might have been his cue to leave as well, but he keeps chasing, and he gets punished.
Yep, nice TP rotation in from PP. And this time, well, they've got the cart, they've got the Exo. Don't know if they're going to have to commit it. They could just to be safe, but we'll see if an actual fight happens. This is also where TPing in from the Tusk, you could see them go for a play here, and they actually just straight up Seafleet coming in first. And well,
okay.
Well, that's your punish. And now they're trying to split up Wildcard, but do they want this engagement? The Tusk is now abandoning his lane, though, and he needs to find picks here. And Benjaz, okay, he's going to go down real quick, though. Mistake.
He thought he was stronger with the Exorcism, but the punch just takes him out immediately, and now Carr is in some trouble. Parker trying to get into position, but that overgrowth really keeps him at arm's length. Do they still want the fight? They're thinking about it, but not 100% sure. Carr, in the meantime, goes down, but Demon charges his way through. Valhor will go down. Sunlight now in a little bit of trouble, but he does get the snowball off, allowing him to reposition. But that just means that they push onto Kits, locking him down. Do they have the means to actually finish him off? There's no tower to protect him. So PP just keeps on going. Now the Pulverize out from Demon, who I think hit level 6 in the middle of that engagement. It's a very timely level up for him, and Parker is able to get in for one last kill.
Yeah, just took too long to get kills after Benjaz, and Belchior kind of stuck him in a team fight that they just couldn't win. Just used the overgrowth a little too aggressively. Samson can't get involved in that fight. The tower just goes down too quickly before any of that play gets started. And of course, Flea was the first one to die there with the TP and the Static Storm. Ugly stuff. You do give Samson an open lane, and he actually does get to clean up the tower that Sunlight had to abandon, but still pretty unfortunate because the PL gets to show up with his Diffusal Blade, gets to clean up a bunch of kills, gets a whole bunch of XP. Of course, XP split 3 ways, so isn't the biggest XP change, but it's just a very one team fight.
Ooh. Static onto the Morphling, but they don't actually keep him trapped in it. The kinetic field takes a little bit too long to form. And, well, with him on basically max strength there, they know Samson can't immediately turn around and go for the kill, but that feels, I'd say, a little overambitious for your 2 supports, especially if they weren't going to commit the Pulverize in there either.
Even though Samson does need to be careful, doesn't know that he is very close to being under a ward here. He would die to a Thunder God's Wrath if he gets any lower, but here's the nice smoke up from Sunlight. He's going to go in with the Ink Swell now, and there's the leash, but nobody else is Soulbind too, and the target dies, so walk away.
They get a kill, they fall back. All is well for the time being. Meanwhile, what's going on up here? Parker, well, he's just pushing out the wave, finding some last hits. Velior, he thought about it. Sunlight was in the area. They're going to try it anyway. They do get the shards down. The overgrowth is going to be there.
Very nice.
Can they get the lasso? The punch is in, but he's able to jump away. Now he's got to play the guessing game here. Can he somehow keep himself alive? Demon charges in, trying to help. The lasso does actually land onto an illusion, but Parker is still in the middle of all the DOT, so didn't matter which one you hit up. You just had to get the damage on the ground, and Parker will fall. They're looking for revenge, though. There's the glimpse. Oh. Well, okay. Doesn't really matter. Thunder God's Wrath misses, but BP's still in position to find the kill, and with Demon charging into the tree line, that should not be allowed. He's pig-pulled while trampling, so just tears his way through the tree line. Velior dropping low, finished off, and Parker dying is unfortunate, but at least they're able to trade it out for a couple of kills. They keep some pressure in the lane with the creep wave. Oh, going up to the tier 2, but now mid, Samson, a little bit of an awkward spot there. Just wanted the tower, and sure, he gets it, ET, but well, the money Parker lost for getting picked off there, he's going to get it right back. He finds the kill, he gets the tower, and kind of just wipes away the death.
Yeah, just really got greedy there and then expected to probably turn into the PL and then doppel away and just be a little bit more elusive, but it only half works like that. And now, okay, they see Parker, but Parker, while he's farming, is a very dangerous Parker. He already has illusions, and sure, they get Sunlight out of there. Got the living armor. PP doesn't connect with the Thunderbolt either, but Wildcard need to start beginning the fights on PP. If PP's going to be everywhere, he's almost got the shard, he's got a full Kaya Sange right now. He is the damage dealer, and he will shorten your team fights. You either get on top of him, or you die. His spells all hurt so much. It's where maybe it's time to wait for some BKBs as well. Sunlight's got a Blank Dagger in Q2. It feels like Wildcard might need some items now to combat their opponents. We haven't even really seen all too much from Benjaz either, because he's been so slowed up, but once he has his mech, he's going to be right back into those large-scale team fights as well.
Yeah, there were already some moments where we genuinely had to ask, did Wildcard have the damage to kill Benjaz quickly? So if the mech gets completed, that question becomes a lot more complicated. But for now, well, no one other than the Batrider had really been working on BKBs, so if they transition, it's not going to be quick. As Sunlight gets himself cut out, Static Storm there, they glimpse him back into the center, and PP just really dishes out the damage.
Yeah. Very well played. Very easy as well. This is just such a simple hero to execute. And Samson, well, there's no static storm, but he does not want to have to run away from these heroes. He would like to aggress onto these heroes, but now, well, glimpse back, gonna get zapped a little bit. Used his waveform already. Kind of unfortunate there with the timing, but everybody should look to disengage pretty soon here, especially if Wildcard bring more heroes. PP doesn't want to give up his positioning too early. He's got a sentry on Kara, but isn't placing it either. Very dangerous position, even though...
Okay, guys. There you go. That's going to give up the game a bit. Courier flies to what on their screen looked like absolutely no one. They still didn't throw down that sentry, but Thunder God's Wrath comes through and they realize what was going on.
Yeah, I think a bit of a reset, you know. Pause comes through as well, assuming PP lagging out, you know, after they missed the kill with the Thunder God's Wrath. I don't think the vision from Thunder God's Wrath, is it still there? I think it faded out already, but, you know.
Yeah. Already
the
faded.
ultimate tactical pause, you know?
That was just kind of... very strange series of events there, right? Velhor just kind of wanders in, says what's up. Longest time with no detection. They do throw the sentry down now, but not only is it too late to do anything about Velhor, it actually misses the opposing sentry, so... Realistically speaking, it's probably not going to matter right now. Don't think there's a fight breaking out in the immediate future in that area, but... rather strange. But PP didn't really miss out on too much. He continued to farm. He does now have that shard, so Static Field is going to make his abilities even more sort of potent against his opposing lineup as Demon. He's going to charge in. They've got the Pulverize in there. The Silence follows from Benjaz, and Sunlight just isn't really able to catch a break here. That's 2 or 3 deaths in a row at this stage where he's just been caught out with no real means of escape.
Yeah, blink reveal from Demon as well. Just caught him completely off guard, and, you know, you realize you're Tusk playing versus the Silence. It's not very fun. And, well, Ravens decide that now is the time. Time to translate this little bit of a downtime. Isn't level 2 Exorcism, so it's a little bit slower, but it is still a free Roche.
They are getting through it in solid time, really. Not the fastest, but by no means is it slow. The Wildcard bringing their troops back around here, but they won't make it to the pit in time. Parker lays claim to the Aegis, and Sunlight, that's a very risky play. Yeah, Demon's going to move his way in. There's going to be the trample. Does he have Pulverize back up? No, he doesn't. So Velhor is going to hit him up with the Overgrowth, but that's Overgrowth used, and Demon's got Pulverize up in 1 more second, but he's so low on health, yeah. He is just going to end up getting taken down. Kitz, though, was looking for a lasso target. Benjaz with the Tumbler's Toy able to get away, but he does still find it. But at this point, his health is so far back and his BKB wore off. That was a bad idea. A very bad idea, and now it may cost him a little bit more. Velhor is going to get run down. Sunlight trying to snowball his way onto PP, but even if he makes his connection, he doesn't have the damage to get the kill all by himself. He needs someone to be able to help him, but nobody's in the area. PP, though, does still end up dying to the illusion, because...
the Dark Portrait. Scary Ags. An Ags that you don't really get to see very often, but Flea has slowly but surely been occupying that bottom lane and got it, and he is the only reason the Wildcard get any kills out of that engagement.
Kind of amazing. All right, you got an Aghanim Scepter this early on your Grimstroke, that early Blink Dagger for Demon. The supports are really not crazy rich. Actually, the Grimstroke is pretty high up there, but the other cores are pretty poor. It's just they have concentrated all of their money into these 1 or 2 items. And, well, if you're Flea, it paid off, right? You got to kill onto the Zeus, one of the more valuable ones you were going to find on the map, because you went for nearly a naked Ags rush.
Yeah, it's very scary as well. It's bonus damage, it's very fast, it steals all of what PL wants. It's very obnoxious to deal with, especially if you're the supporting cast on Ravens. But if they kill Flea, you know, then it all blows up in their face. As Kara, well, I don't know. He's not going down very quickly here. Yeah.
Thunder God's Wrath comes in, doing some big damage. Velhor does manage to get off the Overgrowth, but I don't know how much it's really going to matter. Kara does end up going down, but Flea will be traded. But they did get everyone else out of there, including Sunlight, who really did seem ET like he was kind of dead to rights there, but they're going to try and go in for a second attempt. Lasso onto Benjaz. He was able to drop the silence down, but with that BKB, Kits doesn't have to care, and, well, that turns that into a much sort of clearer victory for Wildcard with the 2-for-1.
No, very split up, and now Parker. Gotta be a little bit careful in that top lane, but yeah, very odd. Benja's just pushing the tier 2 by himself. PP was looking for the rune. The rest of the lineup was at top. Just a little bit peculiar, even though right now, still a lot of pressure. Parker has that Aegis for another 2 minutes, so he's just being really annoying in this top lane, forcing Samson to come and look at him, being a little obnoxious, even though as long as they don't kill the tower, Belchior will just heal it up, as those attendants, Living Arbor will come through sooner than later.
Well, Sunlight, gotta do a little bit of dancing here. Well, okay, not able to really do quite enough there. Tried for the snowball play, blinked out immediately afterwards, but PP's still able to hit him. Demon blinks in for the pulverize, and they do find the pickoff. So, Sunlight, at this stage, I mean, we've kind of given up on him really being a damage dealer, especially with the itemization he went for, but he's able to attract attention. He's able to buy some time, get farm into the hands of the other cores, I suppose, so it all works out as Velior. Gotta be very careful. He's been spotted, and he's pretty much immediately dead. Demon has the rock throw. Okay. A little bit of extra damage and lockdown.
Yeah. Something that we see pretty decent amount of the time on the 4 Primal Beast, but I feel it feels like begrudgingly the offlane and the mid primals don't really like it nearly as much, but it can be enough lockdown, and it chains perfectly with Onslaught, so you know, I love it. It's also just really funky looking, and well, there's the Dark Portrait, trying to be obnoxious, but yeah, you don't want to Dark Portrait hit up against the hero you're Dark Portraiting, because he just kills the illusion. Tries to get on the backline, but there you go. There was a Dark Portrait there. Not the longest cooldown in the world, so you know, it's not the biggest deal, but not exactly what Flea wanted.
Yeah. I suppose it does pretty definitively take the pressure off the tower, just because they had to fall back to deal with that illusion, but I don't know. It's pretty much back up already, though, so not a whole lot lost. Meanwhile, there is an Aghanim Scepter on Samson, so he's got the Morph upgrade. He's going to look to take away some of those stats, presumably from the PL, but now, well, teamfight's breaking out, and that's some extended cast range there onto the PL. Kit's really showing off that Aether Lens, but they still don't have the kill. Oh, that Heart of Tarrasque got delivered out to Parker, so he is somehow fighting his way through this, and they actually picked the wrong one. They jumped onto an illusion, so he's got a little bit more time. Will that be enough for the Doppel? Yes, it will. He is falling back, healing up, and at a certain point, if you're Wildcard, how far do you want to chase this? Do you overextend? Benjaz is able to pop his ult, but they're still chasing after Parker, but he's able to dodge out the snowball stun, moves away, Thunder God's Wrath comes through, Kits will fall, and now Parker says, I'm free enough to try and turn around. He gets onto Flea. He'll find that first kill. Velior realizes, I cannot take that fight in the slightest, but once he realizes that, he's got to back away, which means Wildcard are entirely staggered. Sunlight falls, Samson dies. And ET, I feel like this isn't a lesson that people should have to be reminded of, but this is why you don't chase Phantom Lancer.
It's just so difficult to pin him down. They need to find him first. And you look at the HP bars, nobody got hit in that fight. No damage. Everything was cast on what was thought to be Parker, or was Parker, and they were incredibly close to getting that PL kill. But even if they get him, they're still wiped. They're still getting killed by the rest of Ravens. It just took too long. There was just nothing there. And even the Dark Portrait is cast on an incredibly low Parker, so the Dark Portrait dies super quickly as well. Just really worst case scenario. And they just get baited, and the heart gets delivered, and it's just too much. And Wildcard, who were only really, you know, maybe 2k behind before, just slipped down, and that advantage just gets given over to Ravens. And sure, no racks, no high ground breach. There's still more to play for in this game, but what a catastrophe. That's a free kill, though.
Yeah, Demon gets pulled back in, and okay. They find that pick, and as we pointed out at the start of that fight, Aether Lens doing a lot of work for Kits, but the key there, they need to hit a target that they know they can kill, like Kara. gets hit up, gets taken down quickly, and well, your two supports are both caught out of position there. So Wildcard able to find some picks for themselves. PP, meanwhile, well, he bottled a DD rune ET, but that might be something he looks to, excuse me, maybe just pass wholesale over to Parker, because the Zeus himself, you don't really do a whole lot with a double damage rune. But for now, they might just need to focus on avoiding the gank, because Wildcard have pushed into the south side jungle, but outside of dropping some vision, they don't actually get a target.
Yeah, now it feels as if Ravens want to smoke up. They've hit another pretty nice power spike. Parker is waiting for a Lincoln Sphere. That way he won't have to worry about his main hero directly getting Dark Portraited. It's very obnoxious. Also can't just start out with putting the Soulbind on him, so very annoying. Also blocks up the lasso. So really, just the best item he could possibly ask for in this game. But as well, Roche, 51 seconds. Relatively fast Roche timer, not giving Wildcard very much time to farm up that next set of items. Namely, Samson's BKB, which is unfortunate. He would have it if that was another 2 minutes added on top of the Roche. Just finished the Ags, so has some more confidence in fighting the PL. Is going to steal that attack speed away from him and then cause some chaos. But look at this. PP, they want to jump him so bad. Sunlight's waiting for the go, but he's so defensive right now, and now they know something's up.
And now they jump in. Velior's in some trouble, but Samson still gets onto the backline. They're looking for the kill on the PP. Can anybody protect him here? He is so low on HP. They need this kill. And Kits is going to be there to get the job done. But now they need more. Benjaz getting pulled away by the lasso. They're going to trap him up on the high ground, but the PL continues to charge his way forward. Looking to get onto Flea. Flea trying to TP out under the cover of his Inkswell, and that is going to be enough to survive. But Sunlight now jumps in. Samson pushing forward as well. But with Demon in the area, there's your Pulverize. They're going to lock down the Tusk. Parker, though, wants the Morphling, does not care about the Tusk. Can he actually get this kill, though? That's a long way to chase, and Parker decides it's not really worth the effort, but Benjaz needs a little bit of assistance. Snowball is onto him. Sunlight's going to get the Walrus Punch, but with those ghosts returning, Benjaz heals up. Sunlight, where do you go here? He's trying to make his way over to Kits, hoping that they can team up, but Parker is here as well, and Kits, it's time to go. He's going to look for the TP.
No.
Kara, though, gets the vision. Ooh, where? Wait a minute. Oh.
Got the BKB off.
Okay,
yeah.
There we go.
Barely. Got it in between the travel time with him TPing top and the glimpse actually sending him back. Very close. Otherwise, that was a really unfortunate TP. But at the end of the day, Wildcard get their Zeus pick. They get PP at the beginning. They get a whole bunch of golden XP because of that. They get really the nicest fight, and a fight where Samson survives. As well as now, Ravens don't have Exorcism for this Roche that just started. So I don't know. Feels like they're in an actual place to contend with this fight. And that BKB that Samson might not have been ready for and had to just, wait and get a little bit more farm is now only 1,000 gold away. So really, this is a pretty big opening for Wildcard. If they can slow down the Roche, if they can make sure that the PL solely isn't enough to kill it, well, then Wildcard have a pretty big timing here to play around.
Game resumed. Roche back up. Parker moves his way in. Wildcard, what can they really do here? They've got everybody up, but yeah. I was going to say they're not going to get here in time, but if they move now, this isn't going all that quickly. Only down to about a third.
Not that fast.
There's the scouting with the shards. They just don't feel confident enough to push everybody in, though, so a little bit risky, but they will get Roche for free.
Yeah. I think mainly fear of Kits not having his BKB for another 20 seconds. That's probably the big one. He knows if he shows up, all it takes is a glimpse back and a ward in the wrong spot, and then the Batrider would go down, but it's so close to being something that Wildcard could fight for. The game is just going slightly better, then that would be their moment, but okay, now we got to get excited about this BKB. Samson's got BKB. Sunlight is looking for his own, but he's not going to have it for a while. Blink Dagger on Flea. And then Aegis PL barreling down, going for your tier 3 top. What does Wildcard do?
There we go. Just got to actually buy the BKB. He does have it in hand now, but the push is coming. Exo is going to get popped. Tier 3 tower in some trouble. Kits already spotted. That's a problem. They have to be able to keep him safe. The Pulverize is going to delay his BKB. He does eventually get it off and gets the lasso, actually. Pulling Benjaz in. Benjaz, though, able to heal up with the Guardian Greaves. He does have a Lotus Orb that's able to reflect the silence, but it doesn't actually save his life. Benjaz will fall. No buyback available. And look at Parker prowling on the back line, looking to see what he can find. He would love to take Flea out of the equation, get that Dark Portrait removed, but this is not easy for him. He is basically dove into the base. He's going to get clipped there on the outside by the Overgrowth, but there really wasn't a lot of follow-up. So now Velyor, yeah, pulled back in by the Glimpse. They're going to take him down. This fight is getting very strange, ET, but Parker is just the... well, the eye of the hurricane at this point. Everything around him is chaotic, but for PL himself, he knows exactly what he wants. That's not what he wants, though. Kara's going to get picked off. Static Storm was not used, so they're down one of their teamfight abilities, and they still do need to deal with the Dark Portrait illusion. It's beaten up on Demon. Does it actually kill him? No, it does not, but it gets pretty close.
Yeah, one of these PLs is not ours. It sneaks into the camp, but still a hold. A hold where now Benjaz doesn't have Exorcism for another minute, so he's going to have to wait up a little bit, but Parker is still not dissuaded. He is a monster. He's still very annoying. Another Dark Portrait in a little bit here from Flea. Actually needs to be careful that he doesn't pop the Dark Portrait on the Lincoln Sphere, but there it goes. This time, though, Parker being a little bit more kind to his teammates, even though Wildcard are trying to keep this Dark Portrait alive as long as possible, and they are going to have to deal with it. I mean... it's just funny. Kara, no.
There's two games going on here. Game 1 is try to get into the base. Game 2 is send the illusion at them and see what we can get. And as you said, Kara, that would have been a little embarrassing to get picked off there, but still alive, holding static. But that is the problem, right? If Flea sends that illusion at Kara wherever he is, you cannot Static Storm a Dark Portrait illusion. That just does not work. So you don't get to ult an actual target. And in some circumstances, you actually have to be genuinely afraid that you're just going to get killed off. So you effectively take Kara out of the equation for 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, and push dissuaded. Now, Exo does come back off cooldown. Benjaz is ready to game, but honestly, a little bit of a failure here from Ravens. They aren't able to push the advantage immediately. They don't get any buybacks forced out. Wildcard now get to leave their base because you've retreated. You've decided to get the lanes going. As Kits, however, looking for a PP solo kill. He's going to try for it, but I don't know if he gets this, and I think this is a hard punish.
He used his BKB trying to get into the fight, so doesn't have it to save himself. PP gives him the tip afterwards, and that is a rough one for Wildcard. There is a buyback available on Kits at the moment, but they would really hate to be forced into it. But with Parker knocking on the front door, they may not have a choice, although where's their creep wave? Where where is there? Oh my god, it's all the way back at the bend. So they had to wait a few moments, but with the Exo up, now they're going to push their way in. They've got one flag bearer creep in there, and that's going to allow them to get that damage. Parker, though, pushing all the way to the fountain. They'll take down Flea. Flea does have his buyback available, and now he's into the fountain. Sunlight needs some help. Somebody's got to be able to protect him.
No.
And Flea just bought back, but that just means I've got a new target, says Parker. He's pushing his way in, still has so many illusions here. He can continue to do this damage. They overgrowth in their own damn fountain to try and deal with him, ET. But Parker, okay, you kill him, but that's his first life. Now he can try to get away, and Demon's actually going to come in and help out. They've got the Static Storm thrown down as well, and that just kind of shows the power Parker has. I will say, they could have been hitting the racks that entire time, but this is going to work just fine. Kits is in some trouble. Already dropped low. BKB, not really doing a whole lot to save him, but he's not dead yet. Guardian Greaves heal him up, but Parker quickly fixes that. Kits gets taken down. Kara will trade his life, but at this point, Samson realizes he has to do pretty much all of this himself. His teammate tried to go in for the snowball, but that snowball is reflected by the Lotus, so Samson still does not have any backup here. They're going to drop the Nimbus on his head. Demon charges in with the onslaught, and Samson will fall. Buys back immediately, though, and they did manage to take out Benjaz, but ET, how the hell do they deal with the Phantom Lancer? Even with only one life to work with, Parker is just barreling his way forward, marching his way in, killing off anyone and everyone. Wildcard, they just can't hold. Samson has to get all the way back into the fountain, but Parker, time for Fountain Dive version 2.0, and this time there's no overgrowth to lock him down.
Yeah, no, everybody's just dead. There is a Dark Portrait, though. Here comes Flea, and he blinks out of his own fountain because he needs help, but Kits is about to die back as well. At least he gets the trade onto PP, but it is a 2v4 now, and one where Silent Sunlight is going to go down as well, and there's the GG. Oh, man.
Well, they made the ending fun, for sure, but in the end, Wildcard really just don't have an answer for the Phantom Lancer. They could get onto pretty much everyone else, but Parker's just too strong.
Of course, a little bit of banter, a little bit of all chat, but Ravens now with their 2-0, feeling confident, feeling happy with themselves, but I mean, the hilarity of Parker just going in with Aegis, killing Flea, saying, I'm done with this. I'm done with the Dark Portrait. I know where you are. I know you're not invulnerable. And then just Flea buying back just a little bit too early. Man, oh man, unfortunate. But Ravens clearly deserve the win in this game. They draft very strategically. They got a really nice matchup in, despite the counter picks and what Parker was, talking about in all chat pretty much the entire game, Pick Grimstroke, pick Morphling. No cares. Parker's too good. He's too farmed. He's right where he needs to be. And took some stumbles along the way, maybe, for Ravens, but PP almost never skipped a beat on the Zeus. Incredibly obnoxious. Made the game very difficult to play. And neither really did Benjaz. Had maybe one or two pretty bad feeds, but other than that, is just Death Prophet with Greaves. He just heals the team, makes those team fights take so long, is so obnoxious. The heroes just work.
Well, Ravens able to get themselves a honestly very solid 2-0 here to close out their run. Wildcard ended up not being as strong of an opponent as we would have guessed that they would be when we started this event, ET, but that's just more incentive for Ravens to close this out cleanly, right? You're going up against the worst team in the standings. Big opportunity, get your 2 points, play it out, safe and sound, and that's exactly what they do. So they do move themselves into that playoff picture. They are now in the 4 seed, and I believe that's as high as they can go now. They don't have the head-to-head against 5 Red, and according to our math people, they lose out on Neustadt score against pretty much everyone else. I'm still probably pronouncing that wrong, ET, but whatever. But hey, they made playoffs. That's the important thing here. They are going to face a tough opponent there in Phase 3 right at the start, but you get the chance to test yourself.
Yeah, you get some opportunities, and I think Parker, he's the one who's going to be raring to go. He's the one that's going to be excited about playing versus some tough opponents come that next phase. And we'll have to see if Ravens maybe have some tricks to pull out. Of course, Ravens historically is the team that typically takes an early exit in BTS Pro Series after going on a real hot streak in the group stage. But this time around, they weren't so hot in the group stage. So maybe this time, once they make it to playoffs, they look a little bit better. Who knows, But they don't want the same old lose 2 best of 3s, lose 4 games out of BTS Pro Series that they're used to. Ravens want to get a little bit further this time.
And, well, in fairness, Ravens already kind of flipped that around a little bit, right? Because they came through Phase 1. That was all best of 3s. Of course, you can't really get around it entirely. They did advance through the first round of the lower bracket because Infamous forfeited. They really only won a single best of 3 against Alpha to make it here, but maybe their luck has shifted. Maybe it's the other way around, where they'll struggle in the best of 2s and then get it together for playoff time. But as I said before, they get the chance to actually demonstrate that to us. So even if they fail, at least they get their opportunity. Whereas for Wildcard, I mean, they already knew this was where they would be going, ET, that they would not be making it to the playoffs. But it is a little bit disappointing for this squad still between this and their performance on the pro circuit. They're not quite where they wanted to be with this new lineup.
Yeah. Commiserations. And, one of our 2 Phase 2 NA teams, gets knocked out. So, what can you do? At least we got 5 Red. 5 Red coming in, but it is still looking like an extremely stacked SA tournament right now, where there are kind of a few and far between NA squads, even though the NA squads are looking great, but We'll see once that playoff stage actually gets started. But commiserations to Wildcard, and we'll see what Wildcard looks like because clearly the org is not going anywhere. They've gone through the dry season. A lot of
Mhm.
people think in Dota, so they were gonna pull. They would have pulled now. So now we just gotta wait, see that roster reform most likely or solidify. Who knows what's in the future for Wildcard?
Yeah, they've got some decisions to be made in the near future. For now, though, we are done with Wildcard. We say goodbye to them, and we will show you what the updated group stage standings look like. You can see that on your screen right now. You've got Thunder Awaken, 5 Rat 4 Staff, Infinity, and Ravens locking down playoff spots. I do want to mention right now, though, what you see on your screen. Um, this is not order of tiebreakers. Just want to clarify that this was just the teams that are tied are basically in a random order. So that's not the actual seeding as far as I'm aware, and all of that could still change based on tomorrow's matchups. But ET, 4 of the 5 spots locked down. Wildcard are out. Already knew that. But you take a look at those 3 teams sitting in the middle there. No Runes and Alliance Latam, both sitting on 4 wins. They will play each other tomorrow. So somebody is going to do something in terms of the points here. Dreamers, meanwhile, play 5 Rat. So everything could shift. Any of those 3 teams still in the running. It really does come down to whether you bring your A game on that final day.
Yeah, it's all about the head-to-heads, and then the first seeding, for Thunder Lake and Infinity. So it's not like that first series doesn't matter. It certainly does. And as we already talked about, those first 2 spots get to face each other, so they get to avoid the top dogs for that first round, which is all important. But tomorrow, the bubble pops. 2 teams drop. It'll be real quick. It'll be over before we know it.
So, in terms of the matchups that we actually do have for tomorrow, as I'll swing this back over there. Hello again, back on camera. We will have Thunder Awaken taking on Infinity, a matchup that will potentially determine who is the number 1 seed. If Thunder Awaken wins a game, they take it. If Infinity can 2-0, then they might be able to get it as well, depending on 5 Rats results. But they'll play up first. Then we'll have that Alliance Latam versus No Runes matchup that could determine our final playoff spot. And then after that, to close out the day, 5 Rat and Dreamers. So, well, the games will matter tomorrow, ET, and that's really all we hope for with this group stage. When you've come in with a round robin format, you just want all the games to stay relevant, and we get that.
Yeah, nobody went 0-14. Nobody went 14-0. Everybody played Dota. All you can ask for.
Varying degrees of success and skill in that Dota, but hey, everybody did play it. But that is going to be it for us. We're going to be hopping on out of here. We have, as I mentioned, one last day of group stage action coming up tomorrow. We are back to that slightly later start time, however. It's going to be about 2 p.m. Pacific time because we're still kind of dodging and weaving our way around the DPC schedule as well. So, yeah, slightly later start tomorrow. Hope you join us, though. For now, however, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night. See you later.